She would rather share a high-value man than be stuck with a low-value one. That's the truth you don't want to hear, but you need to. You think loyalty is enough? It's not. Because loyalty from a man with no options isn't loyalty, it's necessity. And women can sense that desperation a mile away. You've been fed a lie your entire life. Be a nice guy, treat her right, and she'll stay loyal. But in reality, she wants a man who is chosen, not the one who settles. She respects the man who can cheat but doesn't, not the man who has no other choice but to be loyal. Look at your life right now. If she left today, how fast could you replace her? Would women chase after you, or would you be stuck swiping through dating apps, hoping for a match? Be honest. That's why you're here. That's why you feel that knot in your stomach right now. The problem isn't her, it's you. You've made her your priority instead of your purpose. You've been living like a man who needs her instead of a man she's afraid to lose. And the worst part? You don't even realize it. So ask yourself, do you want to be the man who settles for scraps, or the man who women compete for? If that question stings, good. That means it hit the right spot. Welcome to Man Code, where we keep it real and push you to level up. If you're ready to stop living in denial and start becoming the kind of man women truly respect, keep watching. You've been taught to believe that love is unconditional. That if you just be yourself, the right woman will come along and love you for who you are. But let's be real, women don't love you for who you are. They love you for what you represent. The strength, the status, the confidence, the presence. Women are biologically wired to be attracted to men with options. Not because they want a cheater, but because they want a man who is in demand. A man that other women find desirable. When a woman knows you could have others but you choose her, that's what makes your loyalty valuable. If you have no options, your loyalty isn't a choice, it's a condition. And that's why she doesn't respect it. Think about it. Who do women chase? The men who are already wanted. Athletes, celebrities, entrepreneurs. Men who walk into a room and command attention. They don't have to beg. They don't have to convince a woman to be with them. Women compete for their attention. That's power. That's leverage. And that's why the average nice guy gets overlooked. The biggest lie you've been told is that attraction is purely emotional. That as long as you're a good person, she'll stick around. But attraction isn't just about feelings. It's about perception. Women subconsciously assess your value based on how the world sees you. If other women want you, it validates that value. If no one does, it raises a question. Why not? You ever notice how a guy who was invisible to women suddenly becomes desirable the moment he gets a girlfriend? That's not a coincidence. It's because women trust social proof. They assume, if another woman chose him, he must be worth something. It's a primal instinct. Survival. Protection. Security. She wants the best possible option. And here's the part that stings. If you have to tell a woman that you're high value, you're not. She should be able to see it, feel it, and sense it. Through your confidence, your discipline, the way you carry yourself. Through the respect you command from others, the way people listen when you speak. That's what separates the men who attract effortlessly from the ones who struggle. So, ask yourself, right now, as you are you a man she would compete for? Or are you a man she's just settling for? Because if you're not actively working on becoming the kind of man who naturally attracts, you're already losing. And that's what we're about to fix. Nice guys don't finish last because they're nice. They finish last because they mistake weakness for kindness. Women don't hate kindness. They hate neediness, passivity, and desperation wrapped in kindness. There's a difference between being a genuinely good man and being a man who's only nice because he has no other choice. Look at your own behavior. Do you agree with her just to keep the peace? Do you put her needs above your own, thinking that will make her appreciate you? Do you hesitate to say no because you're scared she'll leave? That's not kindness, that's fear. And women can smell fear a mile away. The truth is, most nice guys aren't actually nice, they're strategic. They do things for women expecting something in return. Compliments, attention, love, sex. And when they don't get it, they become bitter, resentful, even angry. That's why women don't respect them. A man who's truly kind doesn't need validation. He gives because it's who he is, not because he's hoping for a reward. And then there's the other mistake, making her your mission. Too many guys build their life around a woman instead of building a life that naturally attracts women. They become dependent on her attention, on her approval, on her presence to feel like they matter. But here's the brutal truth. The moment she realizes she's the center of your world, she starts looking for a man whose world is bigger. Women are drawn to men on a mission. Men who have goals, ambition, and a sense of purpose that doesn't revolve around them. A man with vision is magnetic. A man who's busy chasing something greater than a relationship automatically commands respect. So, what's the fix? First, be kind, but never needy. Be the man who gives freely but never begs. A woman should never feel like you're trying to buy her love with good behavior. Second, your purpose comes first, always. Your mission, your career, your growth, your health. A woman should complement your life, not become your life. And finally, adopt an abundance mindset. If she's your only option, you're already losing. The moment you realize you have choices, you move differently. You stop overthinking. You stop chasing. You stop fearing loss. And that's when the game changes. That's when you go from being an option to being the man she never wants to lose. The moment you start believing that having a girlfriend means you can stop improving, you've already lost. A truly high-value man never stops growing, evolving, or becoming more attractive. Because the second you get comfortable, the second you stop being the man she was drawn to in the first place. Too many guys think the work is done once they've locked her down. They stop hitting the gym. They stop chasing their goals. They get lazy, predictable, and worse, they become dependent on her validation. That's when the shift happens. She starts to feel it. She might not even be able to explain it, but deep down, she knows you're not the same man she fell for. And that's dangerous. Because the moment she senses that you need her more than she needs you, the dynamic is broken. A man who has options, even in a relationship, moves differently. He doesn't get desperate when she pulls away. He doesn't beg for attention. He doesn't become insecure when she talks about other guys because he knows his worth. And she feels that. She sees a man who chooses her, not a man who's afraid to lose her. That's the difference between confidence and control. A weak man clings. A strong man stands firm. So what does this look like in real life? It means staying in top shape, physically, mentally, emotionally. It means keeping your body right, keeping your mind sharp, being someone who commands respect when he walks into a room. It means building your network, improving your communication skills, becoming a leader, because the more valuable you are in the world, the more naturally attractive you become. And it means financial and lifestyle freedom. Being in a position where you choose your life, not where you're stuck settling for whatever you can get. And here's the irony. When you have options, you don't need to use them. Women don't respect a man who cheats, but they do respect a man who could. A man who has the power to walk away but stays because he wants to, not because he has no choice. That's why a high-value man's loyalty is worth something. It's not forced. It's not out of fear. It's a decision. And the best part? The stronger you become, the more she will want to prove that she deserves you. Instead of you constantly reassuring her that she's the one, she'll be making sure that she's the one who gets to keep you. Confidence isn't something you're born with. It's not something you magically wake up with one day. Confidence is built. And the biggest mistake most men make is thinking that confidence comes from other people. Compliments, approval, women choosing them. But real confidence comes from competence. From knowing, without a doubt, that you can handle yourself in any situation. That you don't need validation because you validate yourself. Look at the guys who struggle the most. They're the ones who put women on a pedestal, acting like she's the prize, like she's some higher being that he's lucky to have. The second you do that, you kill attraction. She's human. She has flaws, insecurities, moments of doubt, just like you. But the moment she senses that you're placing her above yourself, she loses respect. Women don't want to be worshipped. They want to be with a man they can look up to, not one who looks up at them. And that's why the "I walk away" mentality is everything. A man who is willing to leave, who refuses to beg, who is so solid in himself that he would rather be alone than be with someone who doesn't see his value. That's the man who never loses. Because he never gives away his power. The second a woman knows you're afraid to lose her, she owns you. And once she owns you, she stops desiring you. Confidence isn't just about what you say, it's about how you carry yourself. When you walk into a room, do people notice? When you speak, do people listen? A man with presence doesn't need to beg for attention. It naturally comes to him. He speaks with certainty, moves with purpose, and stands firm in what he believes. That's what women notice. That's what makes them feel something. Because when you become a man of value, you stop chasing. You start choosing. And when you start choosing, the entire game changes. Women respect you more. Men respect you more. But most importantly, you respect yourself. And that's the foundation of everything. Look around. Most men are stuck. Weak, lost, distracted, living life on autopilot, hoping things will somehow get better while doing nothing to change. And the world doesn't give a damn. No one's coming to save you. No one cares if you stay broke, lonely, or invisible. You can complain about how unfair things are, how women don't appreciate good men, how society sets you up to fail. But at the end of the day, it's on you. You've been lied to. You were told to be nice, to be patient, to wait your turn. And what did that get you? Resentment. Frustration. Watching the men who refuse to follow those rules win. The ones who built themselves. The ones who never begged. The ones who chose discipline over desperation. So here's the truth. Until you decide to break free, nothing will change. If you keep living the same way, thinking the same way, moving the same way, you will stay exactly where you are. If you keep chasing women instead of chasing greatness, if you keep looking for approval instead of demanding respect, if you keep prioritizing comfort over growth, you'll keep losing. Period. The choice is yours. Stay average, stay overlooked, stay frustrated, or step up, take control, and start becoming the man you were meant to be. Because the second you shift your focus from getting her to becoming him, everything changes. So ask yourself, are you going to keep making excuses, or are you going to take action? Because if you're serious about leveling up, about becoming stronger, sharper, and impossible to ignore, this is your wake-up call. Man-to-Man Code is more than a channel. It's the place that will push you to be better, to think differently, to move with power. Drop a comment right now. What's the first thing you're going to change after watching this? And if you're ready for the unfiltered truth, the hard lessons, and the real work it takes to become the man you're meant to be, hit that subscribe button. The choice is yours.